Welcome class to today's lesson, lesson 1-9, subtracting from thousands. Strong mathematicians can subtract multi-digit whole numbers is the goal when we get done going through this lesson. So take out your notebook and a pencil and write down the day's date and these notes to help us out. Some general subtracting rules: when writing a problem, the bigger number needs to be on top. When we're subtracting something from another number, the bigger number needs to be on top. In order to subtract, the same or bigger number must be on top of the place value. There's a saying that you might hear us use: when there is more on the floor, go next door. So that means if there's a bigger number on the bottom than the top, then we have to go next door and ungroup some numbers to help us have more of that. So pause the video right now, write down this information, and we can go and look at solving some problems. Box 2 examples. So how do we subtract? Using that strategy, well, if we look at first off all of these examples, the bigger number is on top. That's going to help us out as we go through these problems. We'll start with the first one, 8,000 minus 1,691. In the ones place value, we have 0 on top, we have 1. There's more on the floor, so we need to go next door, but next door there's nothing. So we have to go to the next door neighbor, who also has nothing, and we finally get to the next door neighbor that has something, so we can ungroup from the 8's place value. So we're going to start, and we're going to take the 8, we're going to change 1,000 in. So if we take 1,000 from 8, that would give us 7,000, which would then give us 10 hundredths. But I'm still trying to deal with the ones yet. I haven't even got back that far. So now I can trade in a hundred. Now I have 9 hundredths, and I would get 10 tens by trading in 100. But I still haven't got back to my ones yet, so I can trade in 110, and that gives me 10 ones. Now, I have a bigger number on the top than on the bottom, so now I can subtract. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. 9 minus 6 is 3. 7 minus 1 is 6. So 8,000 minus 1,691 equals 6,309. So if you have a set of zeros, you'll notice that you can go find the place value that actually has a number in it, ungroup one of those, and then you can give all the way down a step ladder until you get to the place value you need. Our next number, 9,482 minus 3,764. We start with the ones. 2 minus 4, there's more on the floor, so I need to go next door. So I'm going to change my 8. I'm going to trade 1 in always. So now I have 7. So I'm trading in 110, which now means I would have 7 tens. Well, that 110 gives me how many ones? 110 equals 10 ones. So I get 10 more ones, but I also have 2 ones to start with. So now my 2 would turn to a 12 because I'm adding 10 more to it. 12 minus 4 is 8. So now I move to the tens place value. 7 minus 6 is 1. So now you go to the next place value. 4 minus 7. Wait, there's more on the floor. I need to go next door. So I need to check my 9. I'm going to change my 9. I'm changing 1,000. 1,000 gives me 10 hundredths. Plus the 4 hundredths I have. So this would be 1,400. So 14 minus 7 is 7. And now 8,000 minus 3,000 is 5,000. So 9,482 minus 3,764 equals 5,718. So notice we didn't have to do every one we didn't have to ungroup. Sometimes you might group all of them like our first problem. Sometimes you might group 2 place values. So always make sure that you don't just become one who says, I need to cross off everything. You take it 1 place value at a time. As we look, we'll start with our ones place value. 8 minus 3. 8's bigger than 3, so 8 minus 3 is 5. In my tens column, 3 minus 9. Wait, there's more on the floor, so I need to go next door. I'm going to trade in 100. So I'm going to go from 500 to 4 because I'm trading 100 in. And I'm going to get 10 tens plus the 3 tens I have, which gives me 13 tens. 13 tens minus 9 is 4 tens. Now to my next place value. 4 minus 2 is 2. 7 minus 2 is 5. So 7,538 minus 2,293 equals 5,245. So all variety of problems, sometimes you might have to ungroup everything, sometimes it might be a couple, sometimes it might be a few. So you always want to make sure you take it one place value at a time when you are solving. So you can pause it right now, write down these examples as a helpful tool as you move forward. Here's a word problem for us to tackle. Jake has 647 pennies in his penny collection album. The album has space for 1,000 pennies. How many more pennies can Jake place in his album? So, if we look at these numbers, our question, how many more pennies can Jake place in his album? People see the word more and they always think, hey, I need to add because it says more. That's where we're going to take our time and think about the problem. What's the problem actually saying? So he's got these pennies in his penny book. He's got space for this many pennies. So how many more pennies can he add to his book? We see more, we think addition, but this is actually a subtraction problem. We have 1,000 minus 647. Notice I had to make sure I line up my place values correctly when I subtracted. So we start with our ones place value, 0 minus 7. Well, if there's more on the floor, I need to go next door. But there's nothing next door either. And we go next door and there's nothing there either. So we finally get to the 1 in the thousands and we can actually trade in 1,000. So now we'll have 0,000 left, but I will have 10 hundreds. But that doesn't help me yet because I still haven't get to the 1. So I trade in a 100 to give me 10 tens. That still doesn't help me with the ones yet. So I can trade in 110 and get 10 ones. Now I can do this problem. 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 4 is 5 in the tens place value. 9 minus 6 is 3 in the hundreds place value. And 0 minus 0, I don't need anything. 353, but it's a word problem, so word problem needs to have a label to it. So how many more pennies can Jake place in his album? 353 more pennies. So you can pause the video right now, write down the example, see the work, see the label. If you want to write the whole word problem down, that'd be great too, so you have a reference on how we got to that information in those numbers. So now it's your turn to practice the skill of subtracting numbers to the thousands. So you can write these problems down, pause the video, show your work, do your work, and see how well you can do on subtracting problems to the thousands. Take your time, do your best. You also have a word problem that we'd like you to solve as well. A ship is making a 8,509 mile voyage. So far, it has sailed 2,957 miles. How many miles of the voyage remain? So pause it right now, see if you can answer that word problem. Make sure you can get the correct label. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to jot those notes down right now to help us out that we can use as our classroom discussion. Also, if you have any strategies that you use that can help, make sure you jot those down as well as we help other students in our class who may be struggling.